Getting ready for the spring camping season can be destructive, especially to unwanted and invasive species of plants. Steve Nichols shows us through his lens how the fire is the prescription needed to heal a campground.
That is a massive column of smoke, and from a distance, it does not look good. And if you get closer, it looks even worse. It's a forest fire. So guess where I am?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of a forest fire of sorts. It's a controlled burn out here at Coon Creek access area at Lake Shelbyville, and it's burning for a reason.
Every year we try to burn a couple different campgrounds.
Yeah, I know, it looks bad, but trust me, there's a reason for it, and it's a good reason.
We're trying to knock back the underbrush, open the stand up. Kills a lot of our exotic species. We've got autumn olive here and bush honeysuckle and some multiflora rose in this stand, and we're trying to knock them back.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would anybody want to get rid of those plants? What'd they ever do to us?
They'll actually compete with our native species for sunlight, nutrients, things like that. It'll actually inhibit the regeneration of a lot of our oak and hickory species. So we're actually losing our oak hickory woodlands because of these species.
You see, doing a controlled or prescribed burn isn't as easy as it looks. A lot of planning goes into this. Wind and weather is everything.
We use the wind to our advantage, which we're actually trying to burn into the wind very slowly or down a slope, depending, because if you were to light at the bottom of a slope, the fire is going to run up regardless of the wind, and you could do some damage to the timber. So we try to always do a really slow backing fire, which you can actually see behind me here. Really low flame lengths, really slow, but it will not hurt our oak species and our hickories whatsoever.
Campgrounds are cleared off to make sure that they don't burn, and even the fuel to start the fire is considered.
If you get the mix any hotter on gas, it actually starts spitting flames at you. It gets a little bit dangerous. But we also coordinate with the fire department. Before we ever light the first match, we call, make sure they know where we're going to be. And once the fire is completely contained and we're ready to walk away from it in the evening, that's the last thing we do is call the fire department, tell them everything is safe.
Yeah, I know the fire and the smoke behind me does look dangerous, but what it does, it actually brings the forest back to life.
By the time we open the campgrounds, it'll be warm enough. We'll start seeing a lot of green growth. There'll be all kind of wildflowers blooming on these hills. A lot of the spring ephemerals that typically come up in the woodlands will really show up because they're not in the leaves.
Now, I have to admit, I was a little concerned about the animals in this area. I mean, how do they respond to their neck of the woods being on fire?
You'd be amazed. A lot of times, if I've got any turkeys in the area, I've actually watched them follow the flames, and they're picking insects and things like that. New acorns that are newly exposed, things like that. I'll have deer a lot of times in the burn checking it out. And then that new flush of green growth, you'll get a ton of wildlife using this area. Within, I'd say, 2 weeks, there'll be all kind of animals in here actually using the burn.
Now, Okaw Valley students came out to volunteer to help these engineers with Corps Days.
3 years ago, the Okaw Valley School District and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the Lake Shelbyville region, signed an agreement where we are essentially volunteers. And once a month, we have what we call a Corps Day, where students who maintain good grades and also have interest in doing biological things out in natural resources have the opportunity to earn a trip out to do things under the supervision of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
Now, this may look like just another excuse to get out of class, but really, who could blame these students? But you know what? They do actually benefit from this.
And essentially, we use this as a learning lab for our students outdoors, out of the classroom, where they take what they've learned in school and apply it outside.
Now, the Corps of Engineers and the Okaw Valley students are making sure we have a great campsite in Coon Creek when it opens this spring.
It'll be nice and green. It'll just look clean.
Through my lens in Shelby County, this is Steve Nichols, WAND.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah, it is interesting, yeah, how they take the fire and use what's normally a destructive force to really bring new life there to the forest.
Certainly.